Actually, to talk about this issue is a member of the People's Democratic Party, a public affairs analyst, Mr. Eric Ikwagu. Good morning, Eric. Thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
Good morning, Geneta. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Now, I've seen series of issues you raised in your write-up where you alleged that there's no transparency, especially in the financial dealings of the present Abia state government and the state. Tell us, one of the allegations you raised there was the issue of 50 billion naira borrowed from Access Bank by the present government in the state. How did you come about that?
Well, I will not disclose my source of information, one, but I am telling you that document, even from the face value, you will know it is authentic, and I'm waiting for the state government to react to it and say it is not authentic. Having said that, before now, we know that 100 billion has been collected from Access Bank. And from the body of that particular letter, it is troubling to say that no mention of a particular road was made on that document. In fact, it is open for the company Kronberg to fix anything they want and consume that 50 billion. Because it's expected that if that
Eric,
particular...
Eric, before you progress, first of all, you said it's a borrowed fund. And I'll ask this time, is there anything wrong with any government in power to borrow from a bank?
I had wanted to make my background, but let me get to this, your second question. There is nothing wrong to borrow money to fund infrastructure. Nothing wrong. But when it lacks integrity, when it lacks transparency, people will begin to question. Remember, this governor, during his campaigns over the years, because it's the third time of running for election, has always come out to say that he's going to change the governance template. That he's going to bring something different, something new. So what is that transparency? You have 24 members of the Abia State House of Assembly who are voted in by their different constituencies, state constituencies, to represent them. At least, if you are somebody who said you're going to do something different, you would have expected something very, very different. The governance template would have changed. We would have been asking this question. Now, when you borrow to fund a project, it is a very beautiful thing. But when you borrow to fund an over-invoice contract,
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by
over? Now, let me break it down.
Okay.
Let me take that Port Harcourt road for instance. You know, when they argue, they think that we are all stupid people. You know, when they try to defend what the indefensible, it worries me. Now, when you try to challenge them on these things, they will bring up Azo's tenor. But do people say that Azo didn't perform? Why are you now still running Azo as if he's contesting election tomorrow with you people?
Did he actually borrow? Yes, I mean, did he actually borrow?
Let me come. Yes, they borrowed money to do that. Where did they find 32 billion? Remember, they were forced. Ekoma and his colleagues went on national TV to talk about 30 billion. They sent them there to go and defend it. They didn't even know how much it was. Ekoma was saying 30 billion, the other man was saying 32 billion. Then finally we heard there was a jar of 2 billion. And remember that this governor, even before he was sworn in, has already awarded a contract. Was that transparency? Now, if you know that particular company, the chairman of Julius Berger, is the chairman.
It's good.
No, let me make it.
Hold on. You will. I will allow you to land. But when you say, is it really, how does it sound for a government that has not been inaugurated to award contract? Has he ever?
Well, he not in this state when they took Julius Berger to that road before inauguration.
No, let us get it straight. I was part of that entourage that went to about Port Harcourt, what's it called? Aba Road in Port Harcourt Road in Aba. During that exercise, I didn't hear where the present governor, our governor-elect as he was then, said that he has awarded that contract. They brought
come on. Hold on.
Let us keep it straight so that
you're keeping it straight. But which company is handling that contract now?
No, but was he awarded before he was in?
Which company is handling that contract now?
No, Eric.
Why will you?
No,
if you don't want me to talk, I'll allow you to take the floor.
No, you will
You
stop.
told me here to hear from my own point of view. And I'm telling you that even
Eric.
before he took over office, he has taken Julius Berger to that site. And today, Julius Berger is handling that contract. What is difficult for you to understand there?
But it's not as if that contract was awarded before he was inaugurated. That's what I just...
That is the implication. That is the implication.
Okay, go ahead.
Why didn't he take any other company to that place? Why didn't he take any other company to that place? It was just Julius Berger he took to that place. And today, Julius Berger is handling that contract. Okay. And I'm telling you, by implication, it means he has already made up his mind to award this contract to Julius Berger, irrespective of whoever that is going to bid better. Now, why I am drawing my cost and saying it is over invoice is this.
Okay.
Under the same period, Delta State government awarded a contract to Julius Berger for 78 billion. And that contract was to take care of 2 heavy interchanges, 6 pedestrian crosses, 3 flyovers, then expansion of 17-kilometer road for 78 billion. Now, a Negra 5 points. Remember that the topography of Delta is more challenging. The area these things were cited, they are more challenging because of the swampy area. Now, in Abia, there's already a lot of work has been carried on that particular site. The debris, the mountain of debris has been removed. Yeah. There was a level of earthwork done there. There were drainages, and you are awarding it for 32 billion, a 5.9 kilometer road. And I'm telling you, is this inflection only affecting Abia State? So that particular one, they have come out to agree that it is 32 billion, and I'm questioning if in Bauchi State, the government awarded 1 billion kilometer, 1 billion naira per kilometer road, and the people reacted, demonstrated, and said no. Now we are giving about 6 billion per kilometer. Is that not being crazy? What kind of inflation is that? And I respected the governor who said he was going to do something transparent. I remember when Ekoma was questioned, he said he should go to Ministry of Lands, Ministry of Works, and find out it is there.
Okay.
Public procurement. Public procurement. This is an act. You should do public bidding. You should announce it on newspapers. Competent companies will come and bid. You now juggle prices and say, okay, this one is cheaper with this quality, and you have cheaper companies that can do that around the country. Julius Berger is a reputable company, it is good. But can we at this point afford a Julius Berger when there are companies that can do it better? I don't want to mention companies because I'm not running a comparison with companies. But there are construction companies that are equally good that can do it. So the challenge is this. It didn't pass through the scrutiny, the oversight function of the Abia State House of Assembly. If it does, I want to see it. And I've questioned the House of Assembly members, and they say they know nothing about it. Now, coming to this Access Bank, we are still a paper that came from, not purportedly, that came from Access Bank, Abia State government guaranteeing a direct financing of a contract. This is not a guarantee letter. It is a direct financing. Abia State government taking it up, giving Kronberg 50 billion to do various routes. That lacks integrity. That lacks transparency. A governor that so much advertised himself as somebody who is going to do something different. A governor has advertised himself as somebody who is going to change the governance template. And we are seeing various. I expected to see 1 kilometer road, 1 kobo. 2 kilometer road, 3 kobo. And various, the implication is this.
All right.
That they could just do that little expansion at Osai Road and tell it has consumed 50 billion. You cannot question them. Because there is nothing specifying in that particular borrowing offer letter that is going to take care of so and so number of roads. They say various roads. So it becomes worrisome for discerning Abians. I'm not talking about this hallelujah boys. I'm discerning Abians who read through these things and get worried and say, what is the difference? The House of Assembly must have given them a resolution. Now, that's over 90% of the House members. They don't know anything about it.
Now, let us, I really want us to interrogate the last part, where you said the House of Assembly did not actually give approval. How sure are you? Because if actually the House of Assembly said they are not aware of that particular borrowing, all this borrowing, the 50 billion naira and the rest of them, how come the governor should go ahead and borrow when the House of Assembly didn't even give up?
Now, that is the challenge. When we talk about integrity when we talk about transparency, that is where it lies. That is where every argument, every debate on this should hinge on. Now, I have asked not less than 15 members of that current House of Assembly. They know nothing about it. Now, going by the law of the House, you must form a quorum for you to even give resolution. So, at least those 15 people, one of them should be aware. Now, if the normal practice before now has been few people, principal officers gathering and signing something for the governor, and you came and criticized that and said, remember, this man went on national TV and said he has not started borrowing anything. He went on national TV and said Abia has no equity investment in geometry. Now, documents started emanating, and he's walking back. Another one has come up to puncture that his statement that he never borrowed money. Now, this is direct financing that you have guaranteed a company, Cromberg, without specifying the rules. And I'm telling you that I have personally interviewed 15 members of that particular House of Assembly, and they are not aware.
And they are keeping quiet.
You have fallen back. Now, listen to the normal practice in Abia. So that's why I tell you nothing has changed. The normal practice is, it is those in the principal members sit down and run the show. All right? Now, they have accepted it as a norm. And I said, remember, there was a time I came to your station, I said, every time, if no one person is not called back this period, we have dropped our oversight on them too, as they're oversighting the government, lead the constituents, and oversighting them too.
Okay.
Now, it is worrisome. Call them. You have their phone number. Yeah. Call them. They're going to raise up a communication because most of them are not aware. These things are done behind the desk. And we are saying, we have unearthed this. And there is 50 billion. Can you explain? Can they have someone, this governor, to ask him, what are those various rules? Can you tell us what is happening here? We need to hear people say, question these things. If the House of Assembly is sleeping, citizens, Abians should rise up to the question and say, if we do not know how you award contracts, if we do not know the cost of contracts for a kilometer road, and if we do not know the process or the procurement process of even identifying your contractors, then it becomes worrisome because it is opened to the vagaries of kickback, the vagaries of give and take. And we are saying, when these things are not done on the open floor, when the debate is not carried on, it is subject. People must abuse the system. And you say you're coming to do something different. And I'm telling you that there is nothing different. You are borrowing 50 billion to do patch road. There is no fresh construction that this man has done. And look at the amount of money that he has borrowed.
Now, let's talk
Why is he lying about it?
Now, let's still talk about this 50 billion naira. And you said it's linked to Kronborg that is doing project. I know that Kronborg is doing the Osa Road. And they're also doing another one at Akara Road. Could that be the only thing they are doing with 50 billion, Eric?
It is even 100 billion. That is just the first document that is showing the first tranche of 50 billion. Now, it's troubling that a 3.5 kilometer of Osa expansion, that's just like as is not even up to a walk path on both sides. And they christened it 6 lane. Now you understand that this government is working on the psyche of, is working on the mindset, controlling the telepathy. They tell you beforehand it is a 6-lane road for you to put up your mind to expect something huge. Now it is beginning to make sense why they had to christen it 6-lane construction. Meanwhile, it is a mere expansion of road. Remember, Governor Kesi has expanded Abba Road, Owerri Road Abba, without noise. Now they are doing a mere expansion, but it's not even as large as what they did in that administration did. And they are singing the praise. Now, when it is people who are outside of the state that will call me and tell me what is happening in Abia, and I'm wondering where. I have gone there at night to take a picture, a video, of that road, and said to somebody in America and said, "Is that what you call 6 lane?" And the person was like, "No, I use my phone to doctor it. I'm wondering, are you crazy?" How can you say that? Because their mindset, they've been so much manipulated that you find a way to justify something that is not real. There's an Abia online, and there's a real Abia happening that people are suffering. Civil servants are not being paid. Every other state is adding extra.
Eric. Okay, so in your write-up, I also saw where you said a 45 billion naira loan was actually borrowed by the state government from Union Bank. So what you're saying is quite different from this 50 billion naira borrowed from.
I said a total of 145 billion
from different banks.
A total of 145 billion. And I'm waiting for them to say it is not true. We will show documents. We allowed them run with geometric. We had the documents. We allowed them run with the geometric lines. When they have run themselves into a ditch, we brought out the documents and they are scaling back. Now they have gone to national TV to say they didn't borrow, and now they've been confronted with at least 50 billion, a part of it. What are they going to say on it? I ask, why would this government continue lying to Abians? Do they think everybody is foolish or gullible? You came on the platform, you wrote on the back of Otti be doing something in Anambra State, and he became a sensation at that time. Okay, the same particular loan he took to put Anambra well, you make sure it didn't work in Abia State. And how does this infrastructure loan help the state? It frees up your FAC allocation at Jack to do some other things. That is, and that is what it does. You make sure it didn't work in Abia. Now it has dropped on your lap. You're going to draw it down. Okay, it is at the last lap of it. Just ramp $50,000. Now these are efforts of the past government, but you want us to only believe that the government left you liabilities. There are assets too. Now you have there's so much FAC allocation that is accrued to the state monthly. Nobody's talking about that. And I ask this question: other states that have added 2 naira, 5 naira, 25,000, 30,000 as salary subsidy removal award, salary award, it is different from minimum wage. Now because they like using semantics to confuse people, they are talking about they are waiting for minimum wage. No, on the immediate, states are beginning to introduce that salary award to cushion the harsh effect. I pity other civil servants who have been stagnated, most sacked. I remember the wage bill has even dropped. So with the excess the government is receiving today, 17 billion, what the former government didn't see in years, you got in a month. What are you doing with them? You are still borrowing. There's so much fact coming to you. Jack is subject to controversy. Nobody knows what has happened to it. My local government has not seen anywhere 1 million naira. Not talking about billions. And I'm wondering, what has changed? You know, when you say new Abia, I'm beginning to wonder, what is new about the Abia? Is it by mere word of mouth or in practice? Or is it by attacking the opposition? Remember that Buhari did the same thing. He criticized, he pushed the blame on Jonathan. 8 years after, Nigerians are wiser. A trend is emerging in Abia, where you think, okay, see, is running an election tomorrow with Governor Otti. So the book, it is only a lazy workman that will put it with his tool. And he's so fixated on the past. And we are saying there's so much money in your hand to take care of things. You have not paid anything you say you're going to pay. Salaries you say you're going to clear. You have not cleared, even with the mountain of allocations that keep according to the state. Now, an economist that said he has come to change. Remember, he once told us that once he's announced governor, that investors will start coming. Only for him to go to Majaru, that is Hungary. I lived there for some time. They call it Majaru, Hungary, to look for investors. And where are they today? All the investors that said they are going to come. What about the expansion of IGR? What about using PPP? This man has concentrated on borrowing. The other IGR is falling down every time. And when I saw that budget proposal, I questioned the rationale in apportioning 70% of funding from borrowing. Well, people say it's okay. I said there's nothing wrong in borrowing.
Yeah, just like you said earlier. When you said, just like you said earlier, and you're alluding to that fact now, that there's nothing wrong in borrowing. And the issue is this: when you talk about Julius Berger working in what's it called, the Port Harcourt Road in Abia, could it be that some of these borrowings are channeled into that particular project, Eric?
Into the 32 billion.
Yes.
How will you say? Because now you are a journalist in the state. Now, if there is transparency, this question wouldn't be coming up. I wouldn't hear had it been. You would have been sure that you saw when the bidding came up. You have been sure that the government said they are going to deploy so and so there. This question wouldn't come up. Now you are blindly looking for answers in a government that said they are going to do something different. Now I'm telling you, there's nothing Dr. Alex has done differently. He has even done worse than any other person. With the amount of money that has accrued to him, and he's only invested in Party Road, reasphalting. Do you want to tell me that reasphalting of these roads has consumed 140 billion? Has he paid off front? Remember, these loans are not paid immediately. Okay, so if you say he has borrowed 142 to fund just Port Harcourt Road, has he paid off all the loans at once? No. So it means because these things are shrouded in secrecy, a lot of water has crossed under the bridge, and we're asking, where are the taxpayers' money? Because it is me, my children, and children that this man is getting all this debt for. Can you imagine that a state that has existed for more than 30 years, 32 years counting, borrowed, including inherited loan, stood at our total debt exposure stood at 165 billion. Only for the Messiah that criticized other governors to say it is wrong to borrow money, look inwards, invite investors.
Well,
you don't need to borrow.
Well,
now you have within 8 months added over 300% to the debt budget.
As the opposition,
who is going to pay?
As the opposition, I think what you're doing is just another, but we will allow the government to actually come up with their own clarifications as regards to some of the issues you've raised on this platform. Let me sincerely thank you, Eric Ikwagu, a public affairs analyst and also a member of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We will be inviting the other side, I mean from the government side. Probably Ferdinand will be here to actually take you on some of the issues you've raised. Thank you so much, Eric, for coming on.
God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's the situation here. It's still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. And we are looking at the borrowings of the state government. You had one of the opposition members there, Eric Igwaku, saying a whole lot as regards to the borrowing, and they've not seen much to justify such borrowing. We'll pause now to take a breather. When we come back, we'll take the side of government and hear what they have to say.